gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. A rain threat looms over this weekend's Chicago Air and Water Show, while tornadoes have knocked out power across the suburbs and a severe thunderstorm watch sits over the south side. Traffic is heavy citywide and Mars Snacking just announced 600 new jobs. Over to you, Miles.
Glunt's Tavern on Irving Park Road will pour its final Schlitz beer tonight, marking the end of a 40-year tradition that began in 1987.
The iconic bar, a favorite among locals for decades, announced today that the last tap will be tapped at 9 p.m., with a small celebration for patrons.
Owners of Glunt's Tavern who purchased the space in 2005 say they will retire after the final pour, leaving the historic venue up for sale.
Glunt's Tavern is closing its doors after pulling the final Schlitz tap this evening. The neighborhood will miss its historic charm. Lots to get to, let's begin. Here are our top stories. Showers and thunderstorms are expected across northern Illinois this weekend, putting the Chicago Air and Water Show at risk of delays and reduced performances along the lakefront. Kevin Jeans has the full story.
Showers and thunderstorms are expected to roll through the city this weekend, a forecast that could dampen the Chicago Air and Water Show. The event, set for August 15 and 16, 2026, draws crowds for aerial stunts and water-based displays along the lakefront. NBC5 storm meteorologist Kevin Jeans warned that a jet stream pattern will bring occasional rain across northern Illinois on both Saturday and Sunday. Organizers have already announced contingency plans, but spectators should expect brief interruptions as clouds move in over the shoreline. The two-day show will still run, though crews stand ready to pause performances if lightning approaches. Fans are advised to keep an eye on real-time updates as the sky shifts. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Lakefront.
Tornadoes ripped through Chicago's western suburbs Tuesday, leaving hundreds of thousands without electricity and prompting a severe thunderstorm watch for Joliet, Kankakee, and DeKalb through 1 p.m. Wednesday. The National Weather Service confirmed that more than 5 tornadoes touched down across the Illinois and northwest Indiana fringe, toppling trees, damaging roofs, and snapping power lines. Emergency crews reported widespread outages across Cook County, DuPage, and surrounding townships, with utilities working around the clock to restore service. The watch, issued late Tuesday night, remained in effect until early Wednesday afternoon as forecasters warned of additional strong gusts and hail. Power crews from Commonwealth Edison and Ameren coordinated efforts, prioritizing hospitals and emergency shelters. Residents were advised to stay indoors until officials declared the grid stable. Officials urged caution as repairs continued.
Authorities have placed a severe thunderstorm watch over the far southern portion of the NBC5 viewing area, covering Kankakee and Iroquois counties in Illinois and Newton and Jasper counties in Indiana. The watch remains in effect until 7 p.m. this evening and is currently active. Meteorologists warn that a line of storms advancing from Indiana is poised to push into the Chicago region later this week, bringing heavy rain and an increasing likelihood of strong gusts and hail. Residents in the 4-county zone are urged to stay alert, secure outdoor items, and monitor local updates as conditions evolve. The National Weather Service notes that the combination of humid summer air and lake-enhanced instability could intensify the system as it moves northward toward the city. Potential flooding of low-lying streets and brief power interruptions have also been highlighted, and commuters should anticipate possible delays on routes crossing the affected counties.
The Chicago Police Memorial Foundation honored 6 officers and detectives who responded to the Swedish hospital shooting that claimed the life of a fellow officer. The ceremony underscores the department's tribute to fallen heroes. Roman Zabel has the full story.
At Swedish Hospital, the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation gathered with members of the Chicago Police Department to honor 6 officers and detectives who rushed into the hallway after gunfire claimed the life of one officer. The ceremony took place just outside the emergency entrance, where floral arrangements and a folded flag marked the spot where the fallen officer fell. Family members and fellow responders stood in silence as each honoree received a badge-shaped pin and a brief citation of their actions during the chaotic scene. Police chiefs spoke about the bravery shown in the moments after the shooter opened fire, and a moment of remembrance was observed. The tribute underscores the department's ongoing commitment to support those who put themselves in harm's way. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, West Loop.
Broadway Antique Market, Chicago's oldest and largest multi-dealer antique emporium, is slated to change hands as co-owners Dwayne Scott Cerny and Jeff Nelson announce their retirement and have listed the business for sale. The store, located at 6130 North Broadway in the Edgewater neighborhood, has been a fixture since 1998 after relocating from Wrigleyville. Over 30 years, the market has drawn collectors and casual shoppers alike, offering everything from vintage furniture to rare curios. Cerny and Nelson said the decision reflects a personal desire to step back after 3 decades of stewardship. Prospective buyers will have the opportunity to acquire not only the inventory but also the established reputation that makes the venue a cornerstone of the city's antique scene. The sale is expected to commence later this month. Coming up, we'll look at the seminary's Hyde Park move and the last Schlitz tap at Glunt's Tavern. Back to you. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Chicago Theological Seminary announced today it will vacate its Hyde Park campus as the lease on the University of Chicago-owned building expires. The 171-year-old seminary, which counts Rev. Jesse Jackson among its alumni, has occupied the historic facility for 10 years. University officials confirmed the lease termination will take effect later this year, prompting the institution to seek a new location for its academic programs and community services. Seminary leadership said the move is part of a planned transition and that students and faculty will be kept informed of upcoming arrangements. City officials were briefed, and the seminary expects to finish the move by year-end. The vacated space will return to the university for future academic use. The departure marks the end of a decade-long partnership between the theological school and the university, and it underscores the shifting landscape of property use in Hyde Park.
Glunt's Tavern in Old Town tapped the final barrel of Schlitz, ending the historic brand that began bottling here in 1893. The last pour marks the close of a Chicago staple. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
At Glunt's Tavern in the Old Town district, a brass tap is being turned for the very last time on a barrel of Schlitz. The bartender slides the tap handle, watches the amber stream flow into a glass, and the crowd raises a quiet toast as the final pour marks the end of a brew that has been part of Chicago's tavern culture since the city's original bottling operation began in 1893. Employees and regulars linger, noting the historic weight of the moment while the glass empties. The empty keg is set aside, a silent reminder that the once nationwide Schlitz label has been discontinued and will no longer be poured on these streets. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Old Town.
American Airlines is set to welcome travelers through 2 freshly renovated gates at Chicago O'Hare International Airport later today. The gates, part of a $300 million overhaul, mark the first phase of a broader modernization plan aimed at boosting capacity and smoothing the passenger journey. Officials say the new terminals feature wider boarding lanes, upgraded lighting, and more efficient baggage handling, all designed to cut wait times and improve comfort. The project, which has been under construction for several years, also includes enhancements to nearby concourses and improved wayfinding signage. Airport spokespersons note the upgrades will help O'Hare keep pace with growing demand and keep the city's status as a major hub. Travelers flying with American can expect a smoother check-in experience as the gates open for service today.
The city's lakefront will host the Chicago Air and Water Show this weekend, with spectacular flights and marine demos set for August 15th and 16th. Organizers say the 2-day event draws thousands of spectators who line the shoreline to watch fighter jets loop, vintage planes glide, and Navy helicopters swoop low over the water. Watercraft teams will showcase high-speed rescue boats, jet skis, and a historic ship's crew performing coordinated maneuvers. Ticket-free viewing points stretch from Oak Street Beach to the museum campus, and public transit is encouraged to ease traffic along the lakefront. Officials remind fans that the show runs from mid-morning through early evening each day, with safety crews positioned along the sand. Weather forecasts call for clear skies and comfortable breezes, perfect for a weekend of high-altitude thrills and splashy displays.
The Climate Prediction Center says there's more than 90% chance a very strong El Niño will develop, persisting through the upcoming fall and winter, potentially altering Chicago's weather patterns. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
Forecasters at the Climate Prediction Center are warning that a very strong El Niño could take hold and linger through the coming fall and into the winter of 2026 to 2027. Their seasonal outlook assigns a probability greater than 90% that the pattern will strengthen and persist over the Chicago area. A robust El Niño typically shifts jet streams and can alter temperature and precipitation trends, meaning residents may see milder winters and increased chances of heavy rain. The center's models show the ocean warming in the central Pacific remaining above normal for several months, feeding the atmospheric changes. Officials are monitoring the outlook as it unfolds across the region. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Lincoln Park.
Now let's turn to your evening forecast and see what skies await us tonight. A strengthening high-pressure ridge and a westward jet are throttling moisture, setting up a quiet evening drizzle. On this date, Chicago's thermometer once cracked 90 degrees back in 2021, a spike that rode the tail end of an unprecedented midsummer heat wave across the Midwest. Just a year later, a polar blast drove the mercury down to 54 degrees, the coldest August reading on record, as Arctic air surged south behind a deepening trough. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 73 degrees for the high and 68 for the low, keeping this evening comfortably within the norm. On the screen, the reflectivity band stretches from the Illinois River eastward, a thin ribbon of drizzle slanting northeast. It's moving at roughly 10 miles per hour, so the core will brush the loop around 7 p.m. and fade out by 7:20. The rest of the metropolitan area remains dry, a testament to the high-pressure dome that is suppressing any deeper convection. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a thick overcast, with the thermometer holding at 73 degrees and humidity lingering near 95%. A high-pressure ridge is building aloft, pressure rising as the jet stream streams west to east at 57 miles per hour, anchoring the ridge and keeping the air stable. That upper-level flow also steers the lingering drizzle eastward, limiting any heavy rain. The wind gusts will top out at 19 miles per hour from the east, feeling brisk across the lakefront. UV index reads 3, a modest level for the fading light. No watches or warnings are in effect, so the evening will stay damp but uneventful as the drizzle tapers off after 7. Friday will see the high climb to 75 while lows linger around 72, but a Middleville trough drags a 35% chance of rain across the metro, leaving pockets of clouds. Saturday tightens the moisture axis, pushing the rain probability to 60% and nudging the high to 77, with drizzle becoming more persistent in the afternoon. Sunday brings the warmest day of the stretch at 82 degrees, yet the overcast deck remains, and the rain chance eases to 20% as the ridge strengthens. Monday flips the script with a clear sky and a high of 73, the high-pressure core finally breaking cloud cover. Tuesday returns to warmth at 81 degrees. Clear skies dominate, but a slight 25% chance of isolated showers lingers as a weak front slides east. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Traffic's heavy evening plus the Nationals' 7-0 win and Mars snacking 600 new jobs coming up next. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
A major closure on Route 53 has shut all lanes between West Breen Road and West Noel Road. Traffic is rerouting onto South Shore Drive and the Dan Ryan, adding up to 15 minutes in the south side. A moderate motorcycle crash on the ramp from inbound Eisenhower to outbound Kennedy is slowing the expressway, but the main line remains moving at a reduced pace. Drivers heading downtown should expect a short backup near the interchange. On the rail side, the elevator at Racine Blue Line Station is out of service, so passengers with mobility needs must use the stairs or the nearby Red Line. The Cottage Grove Green Line Station elevator is also down, forcing a similar stair-only access. CTA buses 12 on Roosevelt and 3 on King Drive are temporarily rerouted, diverting around construction on the downtown loop. Aside from those incidents, most other corridors are flowing smoothly this evening.
Chicago's biggest summer spectacle is taking off over the lake today, the Chicago Air and Water Show. Pilots roar, parachutes bloom, and the shoreline turns into a front row seat for free thrills, a must-see for families and anyone who loves a good sky-high show. On the streets, the Bud Billiken Parade rolls through the South Side, celebrating generations of Black youth and community pride. It's a living piece of history you can feel in every drumbeat and smiling face. A short drive southwest, the Great Gathering Music Festival is in full swing on the fields of Yorkville. Independent bands and art installations create a laid-back vibe that's perfect for a weekend escape without leaving the metro. And for theater lovers, The Notebook continues its run at the Nederlander Theater, delivering a beloved romance that still draws crowds even as summer winds down. And now here's Theo with sports.
Chicago's summer slate heats up as baseball, football, and more shape the city's pulse. Cubs were blanked 7-0 as Washington's Cade Cavalli carried a no-hit bid into the seventh before Michael Busch's flare single broke it up, delivering the lone hit for Chicago. The shutout underscores the need for the Cubs to find ways to break through elite starters as the road swing ends. Chicago sits at 71 wins to 51 losses, split evenly at home and on the road, and heads into a Friday showdown with the Cardinals at Wrigley Field. Fans can catch the action on Apple TV, while WSCR 670 carries the radio feed. Quarterback Tyson Bagent capped practice with a long touchdown, cementing his starter role for Saturday's clash against the Browns. Coach Ben Johnson confirmed that Caleb Williams and several key offensive and defensive players will sit, giving Bagent a chance to showcase his arm in a high-stakes test. The White Sox rallied from a 4-run hole to force a ninth-inning showdown, but fell 9-8 as the Reds held on. A chaotic third inning set the tone, and an early rain delay stretched the contest to 3 hours, exposing both staffs' pitching woes. Tonight's 3:05 CT showdown pits the Cubs against the Nationals, fresh off Chicago's 7-0 shutout loss. Fans can tune in live as the club seeks its first win of the road trip, hoping the offense finally sparks against Washington's staff. Since June 11th, the Cubs have gone 37-16, the league's top mark, and their latest victory marked a 37th comeback win, the most by any club. Riding a 10-game streak, Chicago aims to extend that momentum against Washington tonight. Stay tuned, Chicago. The next play is just around the corner.
Thanks, Theo. Mars Snacking, expanding its global headquarters in Chicago's West Loop, is adding a new campus that will bring 600 new jobs and a $100 million investment to the city. The confectionery manufacturer, known for its snack bars and cookies, is turning the Loop into a hub for product innovation and cross-department collaboration. The expansion not only fuels the local economy, but also powers the Mars Snacking Foundation's Better Community Fund, which will disperse over $3.6 million in grants throughout 2026 to support neighborhood gardens, youth programs, and small business incubators. It's a reminder that when a global brand plants roots here, Chicago's families and entrepreneurs feel the ripple of opportunity. Up next, thunderstorms are grounding flights at O'Hare, and later we'll reveal the 44 candidates cleared for the school board ballot. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. The FAA has imposed a ground stop on departures from O'Hare International Airport due to thunderstorms sweeping the Chicago area, halting flights from 1:53 p.m. to 3:15 p.m., while Midway remains open. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
At O'Hare International Airport, a Federal Aviation Administration ground stop kicked in just after 1:53 p.m. as thunderstorms rolled through the Chicago area. All departures were halted for safety, and the pause stretched toward 3:15 p.m. with officials warning it could linger longer. By 2:45 p.m., crews were still holding planes on the tarmac, while nearby Midway Airport kept its schedule unchanged. Pilots and ground staff reported steady rain and gusty winds, forcing crews to wait for conditions to clear before any takeoff clearance could be issued. The FAA said the measure was purely precautionary, aiming to keep passengers and crews out of hazardous weather. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, O'Hare.
Chicago's Board of Elections has cleared 44 candidates for the November school board ballot after resolving objections to the original 51 applicants, including overruling 2 incumbents' challenges. Roman Zabel has the full story.
Standing outside the Chicago Board of Elections headquarters, the final list for this November's school board race is now set. After weeks of challenges, the board cleared the remaining objections, moving 44 of the original 51 applicants onto the ballot. Among those cleared are 2 incumbent members whose challenges were overruled, a decision confirmed by election officials Michilla Blaze and Karen Zacher. The Chicago School Board will see a full slate of candidates as voters head to the polls later this year. Officials say the review process, overseen by Claudia Peralta, ensures all nominees meet the eligibility criteria before the municipal election deadline. Community groups have been watching the board's rulings closely, awaiting the final lineup. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Chicago.
Thank you, Chicago, for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to share the story of Glunt's Tavern pulling its final tap of Schlitz, a true slice of our city's history. We appreciate your trust and look forward to bringing you more news tomorrow. Stay safe and see you then.